So, all right. Well, once again, good evening, everyone. Again, thank you for being here so much. Very excited to be here to share some wonderful details about what's going on in the world of travel right now, as well as this incredible tour to Greece here at the end of the year in October. So, without further ado, my name is Jeff Woods. I'm the local representative for Colette here in Southern California. I actually recently just moved to San Diego last October. I do come from the Midwest and the South, where I've spent the last 4 years working with the company. And so, if you hear kind of a little Southern draw or a little twang in my voice, that's kind of where that comes from. But very excited to be out here in California now, and San Diego is a beautiful, beautiful place, as long as the rest of the state as well. Over the last handful of years, I've been working in the industry. I've had the opportunity to travel to some magnificent places, not only here within the US, but worldwide as well. Greece being one of them. And actually, there's my picture right there as I was on Santorini. I guess I was there back in April of 2019. So almost 2 years ago, actually, to this day, roughly. And I'm wearing the same shirt in this presentation as I am in that picture. It's a little embarrassing. Um, but I can truly tell you that visiting these places all over the world and traveling has really opened my eyes and my heart. And it's a wonderful, wonderful career for myself. And more importantly, I love to be able to share those experiences with interested travelers such as yourself, helping you guys get to your bucket list destinations, experiencing some places maybe you've never thought about going before or never even heard of. And so that's what really truly brings a joy to me. So this is a very, very wonderful job and a career that I have for myself. So that's a little bit of myself. And I want to dive in a little bit too about who Colette is, kind of what we've been going through this last year over this pandemic. I'll go through some of the highlights of the tours, show you some places where you're going to be seeing, where you're going to be staying at, some of the fun things you'll all be doing. And then at the very end, I'll open up to questions. And while I talk about some niche details, such as the financial side of things, deposit due dates, and kind of what we are doing to kind of safeguard you all as travelers here at Colette. So for those of you who may never heard of Colette before, maybe you have seen us from time to time on a little television show called The Wheel of Fortune. We have been giving away the grand prize on the Wheel of Fortune for roughly the past 25 plus years now. It's been a great opportunity to kind of get our brand out there and kind of giving us a wonderful, wonderful snapshot into the lives of so many on the other edge of a TV screen. Additionally, we have been around for over 100 years. We are going into our 103rd year as a family-owned and operated company, and it is very exciting that we are finally being able to start transitioning back into travel. The last year has been a big burden, not only for myself and the industry, but also for everybody. It's both affected us both personally and professionally on so many different levels. So your hands will be safe, you'll be in safe hands traveling with Colette, as we've been around for the last over 100 years or so. We've been through many things over the last 100 years, pandemics being one of them. We've been through world wars, depressions, recessions, terroristic events. We've really weathered the storm, and we've made it out on top better and smarter and stronger on the other end. So we're very excited to start to roll out some tours this year and get things going back in the way of life here. To put it a little more delicately, are going to be taking care of every single aspect of this tour transparency for you. So we're handling everything from start to finish, from the hotels you'll be staying in, the meals that you'll be eating, the logistics and the transportation all along the way as you travel throughout Greece. What really comes full circle is our tour guides are going to be there to make sure that you have an excellent time. So your tour guide he or she will be with you from the extent of the time that you fly into Greece throughout the entirety of the tour to wave you goodbye as you leave. And their job is really simple. It's to make sure that you have an excellent experience while traveling with us. They're there to bring the tour to life, really educate you into some of the history, into some of the cultures, as we partner with local guides and local Greeks in the area as well. But their jobs are just to make sure that you can sit back, relax, and enjoy your experience while on tour with us. So you don't have to worry about the planning, taking care of the details. We've done all of that for you guys from very start to finish. So a couple of things that's been going on over the last year. As we know, COVID-19 has disrupted the entire world, and it has been a very interesting time to live in. But now as we started to kind of transition out of this, we are really kind of coming back into travel form at this time. Also, to kind of piggyback up to back to last year to 2020, we were the only tour company in the industry to actually operate tours during the pandemic. So from about June to about October last year, we operated about 40 different tours here within the United States, and they went off without a hitch. We sent over about 500 travelers on tour with us through about 8 different touring styles that we have. and we got excellent survey results. We had excellent feedback, and everyone really, really enjoyed the experience for those that felt comfortable traveling again. And I'm excited here today to announce that we have resumed tour operations here in 2021 as of April 1st this year, not only traveling to many places here domestically in the United States, but also internationally as well. So we are actually going to Costa Rica and Panama this month, which will make our very first international tour in over a year at Colette. Now, as a tour company, it seems unfathomable that it would have been a whole year before traveling internationally, but just given the circumstances that we are in, that's what's taken place. And we're able to travel during the pandemic through this traveling well experience that's kind of coined here. And a couple of the highlights of the traveling well experience are we're operating our tours at roughly 50% motor coach capacity so that we can enhance our social distancing measures. We are requiring people to wear masks or face coverings while traveling on our tours. We are disinfecting the motor coaches each and every single day so that people can have that personal hygiene aspect while we're traveling. And we're doing some daily health assessments. We also have the ability to check some temperatures to see kind of how people are doing and how people are feeling. And again, from all of our travels as of last year, we had no COVID-19 breakouts. Nobody tested positive after going on one of our tours. So that was very, very good. So for lack of a better term, we kind of experimented with what traveling looks like during a pandemic last year so that we are extremely prepared and we're very well versed in our travels going forward. Now, going forward, as soon as the CDC, the World Health Organization, as soon as they start kind of lowering some of their restrictions and some of their parameters, we will be doing the same on our tours. So hopefully come October, we're going to be in a wonderful, very good place where we may not need masks or social distancing on a lot of our tours. So as those kind of restrictions ease, so will these policies that we are here at the company of Colette are abiding by. Additionally, before I dive into the very fun stuff, you have to have one of three things to be traveling with Colette for the foreseeable future. Now, we could lift this policy at any given moment, but definitely for the first couple of months as we're returning back to travel, here's kind of what it looks like. So to travel on a Colette tour, you'll have to have one of the following three things: either proof of vaccination, proof of recovery from COVID-19, or proof of a negative COVID-19 test. Now, this is what Colette's policy is as of right now. There is still a lot of information and there's a lot of meetings and different things that are being rolled out across the UK, the EU, Canada, internationally as well. And it's just my gut instinct that there's going to be some sort of a proof of a vaccination requirement or at least a proof of a negative COVID-19 test requirement. And Greece is opening up to travelers with proof of vaccination and proof of negative COVID-19 test as early as next month. I'll go into some of those details here momentarily. So speaking of Greece, this wonderful 11-day tour, Greece Island Hopper. Again, I've done almost the entirety of this tour, and Greece is by far one of my favorite countries that I've ever been to up at this point. Not only is the history and the culture just completely out of this world, some of the most oldest civilizations, some of the founding monuments and just different statues and architecture dates back thousands and thousands of years. It's unfathomable to just stand right in front of some things and know that people lived here, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago. It's just so incredible to see that culture of those civilizations and how they've unfolded. But on this tour over in 11 days, you're going to discover a place where these age-old legends and a lot of these monuments just intertwine with the beautiful warm sunshine and the island-style living that Greece is so very well known for. So here's kind of the tour at a glance. We're going to be flying round trip in and out of Athens, which will be your hub gateway. We're going to spend a total of 3 nights in Athens. The first 2 nights are going to be in Athens on the very front portion of the tour. After those first 2 nights, we're then going to take a ferry across the beautiful Aegean Sea over to the island of Mykonos, where you'll be spending 3 nights. And then from there, we'll take the island ferry over to Santorini for 3 nights before finally returning back into Athens for a night where you'll be finishing your tour and taking off the very next day. So here's one of the many articles that is out there. A simple Google search will open your eyes into how Greece is opening, and they're reopening to tourists as soon as and as early as May. And what the kind of some of the guidelines behind this is what Greece is doing is either proof of vaccination or proof of a negative COVID-19 test before entering the country. And they are going to welcome travelers back in May. So it's very excited. They are one of a handful of different countries that are actually going to be opening up in May. Iceland is another one. Portugal is in talks of doing that as well. And then other countries such as Costa Rica and Panama that we were traveling to in April have done so the same way. Now, Europe's vaccine rollout has been slow and a little shaky, to say the least. That's why some of these countries are still having some cases and they're not getting their vaccines as rolled out as quickly as the United States did. So kind of think of it as California's stance when the vaccines first started rolling out here in the US. It was pretty slow compared to most other states here in the US. So that's just kind of what the EU is kind of looking like right now. But given that, by October, things are going to be in a very, very good place, and we're fully planning on operating tours much sooner than October. So your tour is going to be flying into Athens, the capital city and the beautiful ancient history city of Greece. This is one of the very first settlements dating back to the Neolithic age, and arguably some of the deepest rooted history in all of the world transpires from this very place. As you can see, the Acropolis looking out over on top of its mountain, looking out over the beautiful landscape of Athens there. You're going to be absolutely mystified as soon as you fly into the country and seeing all the beautiful whitewashed buildings. After we get you checked into your hotel, we're then going to take a short little bus ride over to the Plaka district. Now, the Plaka district is the oldest, most historic area in Athens. And if you kind of look right up to the top of the screen right there, it sits at the base of Acropolis, where the Parthenon is located on. So and what's really neat is when we got there, our first night of dinner, it was just the culture and the people are just so incredible. And of course, the food is outstanding as well. But you can climb these staircases and get up right to the base of the Acropolis. And it's just so magnificent to see how big that place is. But what's really unique as well in this area is all of the old historic memorabilia kind of around the city are all located kind of in one centralized location. So you can really see so much in such a short time period in a little bit places like that. But your welcome dinner is going to be at a traditional taverna down in the Plaka district. It's going to feature local cuisine and wine while we're going to enjoy some Greek entertainment. The Greeks are very festive. They love to sing and dance, and they love to interact with us and really share their culture. So their food is absolutely phenomenal as well. That Mediterranean food, from the olives to the grapes to the cheeses, the sauces, the breads. It's a very, very good intro into the culinary delicacies that Greece has to offer. The following day, after we get a good night's sleep, we're going to have a wonderful touring day throughout Athens. So a local Athenian is going to join up with the group and going to take you on a wonderful panoramic tour of the highlights that Athens has to offer. They're really going to showcase some of the city's ancient and glorious monuments. Right here is the Temple of Zeus. Again, if you kind of look up into the back of the picture, there is the Acropolis right up there on top. As I mentioned, all these things are kind of right around each other, and there's this beautiful, beautiful views to be had. Along with the Temple of Zeus, we'll take you by the Royal Palace, where they actually do the changing of the guard, kind of like they do in London. They have some of those same cultures and customs as well as the Olympic Stadium, where the very first Olympic Games were held thousands and thousands of years ago. It has been built up since then, but is still on the very same site, and it still holds about 50,000 or so people in capacity. And it's still to this day where a lot of chariot races depart the city and kind of finish as well. It's a very, very unique place. But of course, we're going to take a very comprehensive tour of the incredible Acropolis itself. The Acropolis as a whole was roughly started construction and built around the 5th century BC, so over 500 years BC, and is one of the most famous ancient archaeological sites in the entire world. Shown here is the Parthenon, but there is many different things up there besides just the Parthenon. There are other different temples that are dedicated to the gods and goddesses of the Greek folklore. Wonderful, lots of room to kind of walk around, take some pictures, and get some very incredible panoramic 360-degree views of Athens as well as the ocean. And up here, your local guide is going to be giving you so much history and so much culture that is going to be incredible just to take it in all up there. So there's lots of really wonderful things and buildings up in the area that we're going to be touring while up in Acropolis. The next day, we're going to get up in the morning and we're going to take a high-speed ferry ride over to the island of Mykonos to introduce you into one of the wonderful islands that Greece has to offer. The ferry ride is a short 2 hours to get over there. There's wonderful, comfortable seating on the ferries. There's a little kind of a cafe where you can buy some different sandwiches or pastries and coffees and different things like that. But as you sit back and relax, you're going to cross these magnificent views of the brilliant Aegean Sea, these beautiful dark blue waters, and you're going to see islands whizzing by you left and right. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful way to kind of get that first kind of experience into the island of Mykonos. While on the island of Mykonos, what I love about this tour is there is plenty of free time and leisure time that is built into when you're on Mykonos and Santorini. So you're going to have days to just be able to experience, sit back, relax, and just take in and soak up the sun in this beautiful, beautiful, magical place. So Mykonos is known as the island of the winds, and it's a very, very unique island. There's so many different myths that they told us about when we were there. One of my favorite ones is that Mykonos was the the island of the location of the great battle between Zeus and the Titans. So kind of reliving that history, those history classes, maybe from middle school, high school when we were growing up, that all starts to come to life as those figures and those gods and goddesses start to come back into our memory, and we get to actually see where all these legends took place and they formed. Here's your hotel that you're going to be staying in. This is the San Marco Hotel, located right up close to the water. This is a piece of the hotel. This other picture was kind of taken from behind it as well, but beautiful, beautiful, comfortable rooms, incredible food. There's a lovely little pool area that overlooks even the ocean itself. But this is just kind of a beautiful, Mykonos is kind of a mountainy, hilly island as well. And I think one of the first things you'll notice, and what a lot of people don't necessarily know about the islands, is they're almost kind of rugged and desert-like. They're not like your traditional islands as you may think about, which makes it very, very unique. But it's a beautiful, beautiful place to see and to stay. The following day, again, we're gonna relax and sit back and enjoy some wonderful charms of Mykonos. You're gonna have the time to independently explore. The area down here is known as Little Venice because the water and the canals that kind of weave and wind through this area of Mykonos are just very, very gorgeous and kind of reflect that same environment. But you're gonna, as known as the Wind Island, you're gonna see those whitewashed windmills that I had a picture of just momentarily. They kind of sit all over the island in different aspects, and a lot of that energy powers a lot of a majority of the island. But down here, this is kind of the fun district. So there are lots of different shops and restaurants and musical performances and street performers. As you kind of continue and kind of get off back into the town, you're going to wind your way through the mazes of these narrow streets. And it's really, really unique, the history behind this part of Mykonos, because the early builders designed the city in such a way that it was going to be protected from any sort of pirate or invaders that came into Mykonos. So when you're walking around these streets, you're going to notice how they kind of maze and intertwine around, and it was done so in a way so that when people would invade the country or invade the island, it would make them and wrap them walk around one walkway path, and they come back to right where they started. So they'd go through all these different mazes and alleyways, but it would lead them all the way back to where they started, so the locals could actually hide in these buildings and escape any sort of fate that might be with them. And it was also strategically designed for a military aspect to defend themselves as well. But they tricked a lot of people back in the day. We do provide an optional tour while we are in Mykonos, is an optional over to the Delos Island by a private boat excursion. And the Delos Island has even more history and folklore dedicated to itself. So this is it's about a 4-hour half-day excursion over to the island of Delos, which is located just right beside the island. You can actually see it from the land. But this is the fabled birthplace of Apollo. And so after a quick little 30-minute private boat ride to the island, you're going to be accompanied by a local guide, again, introducing you into more of the mythic legends that this area is known for. So it's a wonderful way to kind of get off into this island. What's unique about the island is actually no one can stay there. So everybody has to ferry over there. The country doesn't allow people to actually stay there overnight, except for a couple of different scientists and geologists that do some studies over there. But nobody can stay over there. So it's pretty uncharted and remotely untouched. The following day, we are then going to cruise over to a most spectacular destination in the Mediterranean, the brilliant island of Santorini. And Santorini lives up to the hype. It lives up to all of those wonderful pictures. It looks exactly like it does in pictures, actually. So Santorini actually was formed in a very unique way. It was formed by a massive volcanic eruption that actually destroyed the earliest settlements on what was originally a single island. So this picture is taken from a place called Ia, and if you can look out there in the middle, that was actually the hole of a volcano. So it's a caldera out there. And when the volcanic eruption, it erupted so powerfully and so high, it actually kind of imploded and sunk the island down underneath the ocean. So there is kind of a volcano that is dormant that sits up underneath the island, but that's kind of how the island was formed. And I was mesmerized when I was told kind of the history behind that. It's just insane to see. But the Santorini is made up of lots of different wineries and breweries, lots of wonderful multicolored beaches, from black rock beaches to sandy beaches. The energy on the island is just unparalleled to many places in the entire world. One of the hidden gems that you'll be visiting while you're on the island is the excavation sites known as Akrotiri. Now, Akrotiri, think of this as Pompeii. We kind of know that story of Pompeii, how the volcano erupted. buried the entire city for thousands of years until it was rediscovered. Well, the same thing happened here with this same volcanic eruption that just disassembled the entire island. So this is one of the most important prehistoric settlements that is found anywhere in the Eastern Mediterranean. It is actually covered by a roof so that scientists and geologists can work it. And what's really unique, this is about the size of 2 football fields in total. This is just a little snapshot of the geological place that it is. But you can see the different alleys, there's different roads. You can see early settlements of different pots and staircases. Even one of the very first toilets that we've ever discovered here, on the earth is found here as well. They have double story, 2-story places where they used to live. You can see kind of the beds. It's such an incredible assignment that it's just again incredible to see this. And what's kind of the sad part about this is actually the Greek government doesn't always have the most funding to give to some of these scientists. So a lot of this is still kind of not yet discovered and not studied well enough. So we still a lot of history we don't know about this place yet, but it's still being uncovered each and every single day. So we'll take you on a nice little morning tour of this so you can kind of get to see it for yourself. We'll then get you checked into your hotel, the Santorini Palace Hotel. The Santorini Palace Hotel is gorgeous. It sits right along the ocean as well. It's probably, I would say, maybe a block or 2 walk down to the beach. And the beach is kind of this black sand, volcanic rock beach as well. And it has beautiful, beautiful views that just stares off into the ocean. But this is kind of the center part of the hotel, and it kind of is a little 360 view around the hotel with the pool located right there in the middle. But great friendly staff. You're surrounded by some mountains and some other different wonderful places to see. Lots of different restaurants outside and shops additionally. But continuing your tour at Akrotiri, I guess I shuffled those slides around a little bit, not the best in there, so I apologize for that. But again, this is kind of another snapshot of Akrotiri. Again, the preservation in the society was kind of dated back to about the year 1450 BC, so 1,450 years BC. The volcanic ash had covered it for thousands and thousands of years. But this kind of gives you another look, as you can kind of see the walls of the different settlements, and they have even those little windows and cracks that you can kind of see there. We'll continue then traveling throughout the fantastic landscape of Santorini. Santorini on the island is made up of a bunch of little tiny towns. So Ia was the first one that I kind of shared with you. So one of the most sought out pictures of all time. When you think of Greece and you think that picture of Greece, Ia is that destination in that place where you see all these pictures from, because this has all those whitewashed buildings that sit high up on the mountaintops. And there's a lot of unique history that goes into that as well. Originally, thousands of years ago, this is where the slaves would stay, up on this island. And now over thousands and thousands of years, it has transitioned into one of the most sought out destinations in the entire world. But this is where the slaves actually would stay. But up here on this spectacular part of town, it's going to have the best views of the caldera, that dormant volcano that you can see. And there's just the energy and the atmosphere up there, again, is just out of this world. Nearby on another part of the island, we're going to have a visit to a local winery and introduce you to some fantastic Greek wines. They do a little bit of everything. And what you'll see there is you're going to see these vineyard trees all over the island. They kind of look like coiled up little snakes on the ground, but that is kind of where they get their wine from and how it is all produced. So it has everything from kind of sweet wine to dry wine, light to red to very unique different kinds of wines. So you'll get a sampling into some of the unique wines up there as well. And if you can look a little bit further back into the picture, do you see that cruise ship down there in the ocean? This is how high you guys are above, sitting up on this mountain, sipping on some wine and just seeing out all over the beautiful ocean. If you've ever been to Ireland, the Cliffs of Moher, if you've ever been there before, those are about 700, 800 feet up in the air. Up here, where you're about 1,000 feet up on a rocky cliff, having some wine looking out over the ocean. Fantastic place and beautiful views. You'll have another day of leisure to relax and independently explore Santorini on your own. There's so many things to do and to see on the island. I promise you won't get bored. You can also sit back, relax, and enjoy some of the amenities at your Santorini Palace Hotel and some of the areas around that as well. If you like ATVs, you can take an ATV tour of the island. You can actually just rent one and off you go. It's kind of interesting how they just let you do that, but you can. I did it, had an excellent time while I was there. But one of the other areas that I encourage you to visit is the town of Thera. Now, Thera is actually the capital of Santorini as well. As I mentioned, it was one of the many different neighborhoods that is built up all around the island. So this has more kind of a commerce district. So some well-named shops, and again, more restaurants and other beautiful views on other different sides of the island. So you can choose to do that if you wish to do so. We do offer an optional tour if you wish to do so as well. This is the Island Hopping and Sunset Cruise. So this is a full day though. So if you want to have something to do when on your final day in Santorini, this is something you may want to do. Basically, your local guide is going to pick you guys up in the morning, and we're going to take a little cruise out and see some different islands around the local area, some which are inhabited, some are uninhabited. So kind of give you a different breathtaking views. This is something I didn't get to do just because of our time constraints we had while there, but I wish I would have got off and seen some other different parts of the islands nearby. So if you would like to do that, you can purchase this additionally, or if you want to stay on Santorini and really make the most of your time there, that is a win-win situation. Day 10, we're then going to bid a farewell to the Greek islands and wave goodbye, and we're going to head back over to Athens. The flight from Santorini back to Athens is about an hour, so it's a quick up and down. When we get back to Athens, you'll get checked back into the same hotel that you're actually staying with on the very front part of the tour, and you'll have some free time to kind of rest and get your stuff together, and then we're going to join up for a wonderful farewell dinner at a wonderful restaurant just across the street from your hotel in Athens. So that will conclude an 11-day adventure over to beautiful Greece, with a lifetime of treasured memories are awaiting you in breathtaking Greece and the islands. A couple of slides that I'll wrap up here with, and then I'll open up to any questions that you all may have for myself. How we start your tour off will be in style. So we're going to start off with our hometown pickup, where we pick everybody up at one centralized location, and we'll take you to the airport on departure day. So that's going to alleviate that hassle from having to drive to the airport yourself, pay for parking or pay for a cab, or even worse, bugging a family member to take you. We'll let Colette lift you off in style on the beginning of your tour. We'll also be there when you guys fly back in from Greece to pick you up and take you back to that one centralized location. And more details on that will be those to follow for everyone who signs up for the tour. Come on, slide. There we go. All right. Oh, went to one too far. So I encourage you to definitely personalize your adventure. I know a lot of us, we've been cooped up for the last year and a half. We are dying to get back out there and dying to get back out in the world and travel and explore. So I encourage you to spoil yourselves if this is one of your first tours getting back out there by elite airfare. So if you want to upgrade to premium economy or to business class, treat yourself and do it. Colette can help and set you up with that. Any sort of those optional excursions like that boat tour or the tour out to Delos Island, take advantage of those opportunities. Pre and post nights. So if you want to fly into Athens a couple of days early or stay a couple of days later on the back end and maybe explore some other areas around Greece yourself, Colette can help and set you up with doing that. Just let us know what you're interested in doing, and we'll do our best to accommodate in every aspect that we can. I want to talk to you a little bit about travel insurance, because this has been a hot topic that Colette has really soared above our competitors and really branded ourselves very, very well and strongly in the travel industry. And before I get to that, I want to kind of show you some of the safeguards and talk to you some about that on what's going on here with Colette. So over the last year and a half, here's a stunning figure. We have refunded over $130 million in deposits and insurance money due to our COVID-19 cancellations. So what I'm saying by this is that your money is safe with Colette. It's a big question we're getting right now, because a lot of people who had traveled with competitors or maybe just had their own personal side trips planned, unfortunately, they got burned either with losing their money or with getting only a voucher or a credit for future travel. Colette decided not to do that. We were the only company that did this because it was the right thing to do to refund everybody's money who wanted it, right? That is the right thing to do. And that's what we did. And we've gotten very, very high praises. We gave people a couple of different options. So if we're playing devil's advocate here, and this COVID-19 is still lingering around, and for everyone who signs up on this tour can't go due to whatever is going on, here's the options that you have to choose from. You can choose from, we can move your tour to another date and it will be price protected. We can issue you a voucher or a credit if you'd like one. But the main thing that people took, over $130 million in deposits and insurance, was people wanted their money back, and we had that cash on hand to give back to all of our travelers. And I'm gonna talk to you about another key date here momentarily where this gets even a little bit better. Okay, now to segue back into our travel insurance and what that has to offer for you all. So, with our travel insurance, you can cancel your tour at any time, 24 hours prior to departure, and get a full cash refund. So for any reason whatsoever, you can cancel this tour. It's not based on age. It's not based on pre-existing conditions. You can cancel the tour and get a full cash refund. Notice I said cash refund. I didn't say a voucher or a credit again. This is getting your money back. Colette's been around for over 100 years. We are a financially stable company. And we actually do not spend your money until you travel with us. So we don't spend your money and pay for somebody else's tour. We hold your money aside and we pay when you travel. So if you decide not to travel, we have that money, boom, right back to you right away, no questions asked. So you're covered before we ever even get on tour with Colette from a financial security standpoint. Now, when you get on tour with Colette, you're covered from a few different areas: medical assistance, evacuation, baggage loss, baggage delay. So if you should happen to fall ill, maybe need to visit a doctor, visit the hospital for whatever reason, you're covered with our medical assistance on our insurance waiver. Evacuation, if we need to get out of the area for whatever reason, we will do so as quickly as we possibly can, and you will be refunded for whatever portion of the tour it is that you miss. Baggage loss, baggage delay. Sometimes that can happen going through the airports. It's part of the whole experience. But if it should happen to you, don't freak out. Don't worry. We will get your luggage back to you as quickly as we possibly can on tour. Additionally, another key question I get asked a lot lately: is COVID-19 covered? Is quarantine covered? Well, guess what? Yes, it is. COVID-19 is covered under a medical standpoint, and quarantine is covered under the evacuation, which kind of subheads under trip delay, trip interruption, things like that. I'll take a step back and just let you know, if there is some sort of a quarantine requirement for any of our tours, including this Greece tour, if we have to go over there and quarantine, Colette's not going to send you there. We're not going to make you go quarantine for 7 days, 10 days, whatever it is. We're not going to do that. At that point, we would cancel the tour and you would get those three options that I just talked to you about. You can move your tour, you can accept a voucher, or you'll have that option to get all of your money back, including travel insurance. As a simple thank you for traveling with Colette, especially if this is your very first time traveling with us, you'll be automatically enrolled in our Passport Club, which will allow you to start earning additional discounts for future tours that you take with Colette, hopefully through the Laverne Chamber, of course. $150 off of your next tour after getting back from Greece can be applied to your next tour traveling with Colette within 1 year. If you can't make it within a year, we understand. We have a $100 discount off for you for your next tour by traveling with us between 1 to 2 years after you get back from Greece. Again, this is a simple thank you for traveling with us. It's our Passport Club, and you're going to be automatically enrolled in that to start earning discounts on future travel with Colette. Speaking of passport, yes, you do need a passport to travel to Greece. And the one key thing I want to talk to you about the passports is, well, first off, if you don't have one, please make sure you get one ASAP, because you will need one to enter the country. And we need that information so that we can book your airline flight. Secondly is check, for those of you who do have your passport, check your expiration dates. The reason being is the United States likes to see your passport nice and valid 6 to 8 months when returning back into the country. So this tour is taking place in October 2021. If it's going to expire in 2022 or before that, just go ahead and get it renewed. I don't want you to have to worry about any hiccups or any fees kind of going through the airports or anything like that. Don't worry, we're also vetting that information on our end, so we'll let you know and kind of flag it if something might cause you to have any kind of an inconvenience in the airport, so we'll let you know. But please just be kind of aware of the validity date on your passport. For more information on this tour, I know Leah at the Chamber has lots of different itineraries for this information on the tour that she can send to you, which includes a registration form that you can fill out and send back into us. Or for those of you who feel more comfortable on a computer, you can go to the following website link: gateway.gocolette.com/link/1035316. Now, this gateway link is going to take you to this website that has all of the information you could dream of about this tour. It has the day-to-day information of itinerary, of what you're going to be doing, where you're going to be staying, different things like that, a lot of which I went over here today. The frequently asked questions: what's the weather going to be like? What's the currency exchange? What's this? What's that? It has all this information right there on the website that you can scroll through, look, and see. The other feature it offers is the sign up now feature at the top left-hand portion of the website, where you can click on that button. And just like you would order something off of Amazon or buying your own airline ticket personally, you can go right online, fill out your registration form. It's the safest, quickest, and realistically, it's the most secure way to sign up and pay your deposit for this tour. Additionally, Leah's information is on the top right-hand corner, so if you do have any sort of specific questions for her, you can contact her with her email address and phone number there for any sort of Greece-related questions about the tour. Okay, here's my final slide, and I will then open it up to any questions out there. This is kind of what I like to do, just pull out the meat and potatoes from the registration form so everybody can kind of is clear on kind of what these dates and prices and everything kind of means. So the tour to Greece is going to take place October 16th through the 26th of this year in fall of 2021. The deposit to get your name on this tour and lock in your reservation is $600. The insurance waiver that I spoke to momentarily ago, that cancel for any reason, 24 hours prior to departure, full cash refund. You're also covered on tour, medically, evacuation, baggage loss, baggage delay, trip interruption, trip delay, all of that fun stuff. That insurance waiver is $399. We do ask if you purchase our travel insurance, you do so at time of first deposit. Just make things a little bit easier on our end for us. So that would make an initial deposit of $999 per person, and that will lock in your seat and your reservation on this tour. Now, what we did is we've extended a lot of dates down the road for you so that we can just provide the best up-to-date information at the very last minute when we need a deposit. So your deposit is due by April the 17th, so that's just around the corner here. We just need that initial deposit of $999. Now, this is that date that I spoke to just momentarily ago where things get a lot better. So your deposit of $999, or however much money you want to pay up front, that deposit is completely refundable until July the 1st. And up until July the 1st, you can cancel this reservation on the tour and get all of your money back, including travel insurance. So you're out absolutely nothing. So before July the 1st, you can cancel, get all of your money back, including travel insurance. Now, after July 1st, you can cancel all the way up until the day before departure and get a full cash refund. The only thing you'd be out is the $399 of travel insurance. So to recap, before July the 1st, cancel all of your money back, including insurance. After July the 1st, you cancel all the way up until October the 15th and get all of your money back. The only thing you'd be out is the insurance of $399. Now, final payment of the two prices you can see below there isn't due until August the 17th. So you have from now until August the 17th to pay off this trip. However you wish to do so, all that we ask for is an initial deposit of $999 and your final payment on August the 17th. And now for the final payments, you can see there at the bottom, it is based on double occupancy, which means traveling with a companion, or as a single, well, solo travel going by yourself. So $3,498 for a double occupancy, $4,298 for a single occupancy. Now, the other key thing where this thing just keeps getting better is this tour actually falls under a very, very special price promotion that I was able to work out with Leah, and you're saving about $500 per person on this tour. As you can imagine, we are trying to entice people to want to travel internationally again, and so we're offering some discounts as well as incredible dates for cancellations to hopefully to get people to join on and get back out in the world and traveling. So you are saving a significant amount of money on this tour. This would traditionally be about a $39.99 tour for a double and almost a $5,000 tour for a single. So lots of savings are going on right now with the extended deposit due dates to be able to cancel. Now, what is all included in this price? Everything is included in this price that I have talked about up to this point. That includes your hometown pickup. That includes your round trip airfare over to Greece and back. That includes your 3 nights in Athens, your 3 nights in Santorini, your 3 nights in Mykonos. All the transportation and logistics are included in that. The 11 days, the meals that are included in that tour, everything is included in that price. The only thing not included in that price are a few things. One is the insurance waiver of $399. That insurance is optional. We can't force anybody to buy that. So that would be in addition to your price if you wish to take Colette's travel insurance. Gratuities and tips for the tour guides along the way, that is completely optional and up to you. I can promise you the tour guides are going to work very, very hard. to get rewarded for their services, but we feel you should pay for the service you receive, so we don't build that into the price. And of course, last but not least, any personal spending money you want to use while you're over there is not included in that as well. So with that being said, I will stop sharing my screen, and if anybody has any questions out there, feel free to unmute yourself if you are muted, or ask and fire away.
I'm just going to add a few little details here. First of all, the website that Jeff mentioned is on, the link is on the Chamber website. So if you didn't write all that down quick enough, you could just go to the front page of the Chamber website. You'll see the Greece Island Hopper banner, and you can click on that. It will take you there. If you would prefer getting a PDF of the brochure, just email me and I'll be happy to send that to you if you want to have a paper backup. And finally, I actually want to just confirm and let you know we have traveled with Colette's in the past. And May of 2021, we did have 13 people planning on going to the islands of New England, which we will be visiting for spring of 2022. And every single last one of them got their full cash refund with absolutely no issues. So I can definitely back up the promises that Jeff has made.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you. Well, if there are any questions out there, feel free to unmute yourself. If you feel like you aren't being heard, you might be muted, or if you want, you can type in any questions into the chat function and I will do my best to answer them.
I want to go. Wow.
All righty. Well, that either tells me I did a great job or a terrible job. Sometimes I don't know. But just to kind of reiterate, you know, I know a lot of people, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, and I get it. There's a lot of things we don't know as a tour company, but you know, we're very confident, especially with the vaccine rollout here in the U.S. and how that is going to start to transpire over into Greece, as well as the entire rest of the world. Greece is opening back up to tourists here in May, again, who are vaccinated or can show proof of a negative COVID-19 test. So that's very good signs. And compared to where we were here in the US a month or two ago, things are only going to continue to get better and to continue to climb. And that same is going to be reflected once the vaccines get a better further rollouts in Greece. We've put a couple of different safeguards in place for you. You know, between if Colette has to cancel the tour, you'll get all your money back. And there's also dates of up to July 1st. You can cancel your reservation, get all your money back as well. So we've done our best and we've done our due diligence to put a great product out there for you guys. So if you're feeling comfortable, make the best decision for yourselves and for your families. But we have a wonderful tour to Greece, and I can't wait for you guys to at least visit Greece at some point in your life, because it's a fascinating country. So thank you very much. Leah, if you have anything else to add before we adjourn, I'll open it up to yourself. And then again, I'm recording this presentation, so I'll be sending it over to you probably tomorrow. And so for anybody who wants to rewatch it or send it out to friends, family, I'm sure Leah probably won't have any issues with that. So.
Yeah, no, please. I'll post it on Facebook to make it easily shareable on the Laverne Chamber Facebook page.
Wonderful. All righty. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time for joining me this evening, and hopefully we'll see you in Greece very soon.
You know what? How long is the flight to Greece?
So it's going to kind of depend. What was my flight schedule? I think I flew out of, I don't remember where I flew out of actually. But the flight over to Greece, I mean, it's a little further inland in Europe. So, you know, you're probably looking at an 8 to 9 hour flight from the East Coast.
Okay, right. Oh, okay.
So, yeah, from the East Coast. So the flight getting over to the East Coast, you know, factor in that time as well. But yeah, I think, 8 or 9 hours roughly.
Ooh, okay.
It's not bad. It'll be an overnight flight. You know, they'll serve you some dinner, put a movie on, listen to some music, go to sleep. You wake up, you're there. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Leah. Thank you, everyone. And I'll be visiting with you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Right. Bye-bye.